Hello, everyone. Welcome to Masters in Travel. I'm your host, Whitney. This week, I have a special episode from the Hive Mind podcast to share with you. I hope you enjoy this new episode format. And when you're finished listening, be sure to hop over to the Hive Mind podcast to subscribe and to make sure you see those new episodes each week as well. They'll always be coming out on Thursdays. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Okay, let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Kate, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on and to dive into our mutual shared obsession of spa and wellness. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So for anyone listening, I have prepared or prefaced or done anything. I've done nothing to prepare Kate for this conversation. So I'm just going to dive in and just ask straight up, Kate, when I mention let's have a conversation about spa and wellness in hotels and the spectrum that exists in the industry and that we'll find at different hotels, I'm curious to know just where your head goes about this topic immediately. Like, what do you immediately start thinking about?
I immediately start thinking about how broad it is and how I think kind of misunderstood and misinterpreted it can be, and how I think it can be really easy to default to the spa treatment aspect of it, but that wellness has a lot of components. It's a really broad term. It doesn't, particularly within the travel industry, I think there are a lot of different ways of approaching it. And so I thought it might be kind of interesting to break down what those different I feel like there are different product segments and different client segments. And the key to selling it well is understanding what your client needs. If they're specifically asking for wellness, what are they actually asking for? And then having some sense of kind of like the breadth of the product and what those segments are, so that you know where to start educating yourself if it's something that you don't have a lot of expertise in currently.
And or just like how to guide you on finding the right fit for what the clients are, like what the client is asking for or looking for. Okay, perfect. This is where my brain goes to. My initial frustration kind of came from the binary question of, do you have a spa, yes or no? And then that always kind of feels like where it ends in terms of just learning about a hotel or going to a hotel's website and clicking on the spa or wellness tab that may or may not exist, or hotels that say yes, but then come to find out the clients went and they had an in-room treatment. And that's not what I was envisioning. And that's not what the client was envisioning. And so these are like the little frustrations that are just grating on me. None of it's bad. It's all about communication. It's all about managing. But an in-room treatment is perfectly fine if you present it as an in-room treatment. And if the client says, yes, I would like to book an in-room treatment, right? So there's nothing bad about it.
As long as everybody's on the same page. Yeah.
Right. But that's not a surprise that you want to have when you're at your hotel expecting to go to the spa for a treatment and you find out and the masseuse is knocking on your door. That's a bit of whiplash. So in terms of the spectrum, I kind of think that no spa, obviously, is on one end of the spectrum where the answer is just no. We don't offer spa services. We don't have a spa. Okay, that's easy. The other end, I feel is like a med spa situation where it's the most intense, highest commitment.
It's diagnostic,
type.
I would say. Yes. Is like the other end of the spectrum.
And this is generally the experience rather than a component of a larger trip. Right?
You're going there in order to do that. Usually it's a prescribed period of time. It's a prescribed set of treatments. Yes. You usually have a conversation with the doctor before you go. It's not you're not doing a lot of other things while you're there besides sort of probably napping and kind of letting your body heal and deal with whatever the treatments are forcing you to confront.
So that experience is there, and I kind of think that feels like the furthest end of the spectrum, and I don't think that it really is part of today's conversation because that's very clear and straightforward. And if a client is asking for that, we know where to find it.
I actually disagree. I think we don't need to get into it in detail because it's actually not a thing that I personally have a ton of expertise in. It's one of those things that I sort of always in the back of my mind want to gain a better understanding of the differences between them, but they are very different. Going to Shaw Wellness is very different from going to Lanzerhof, which is very different from going to Chanel Palace. They all have different focal areas. Some of them you can get more diagnostic treatment at. Some of them, if you need follow-up treatment or imaging, you can have it done. Some of them are a
Okay.
little more, I would say, kind of like detox or dietary oriented, where maybe you're
Okay.
having colonics or you're having lymphatic drainage massages a lot, but you're not
Hmm.
necessarily having ultrasounds or dental work done or
So what I'm hearing
aesthetic
is that,
facial treatments or, you know what I mean?
right. Okay. So I think what I'm understanding is that the few places that you just mentioned, those would all fall within that diagnostic end of the
Yep.
spectrum, but there's still a lot of spectrum within those of
Yep.
their approach, what they include, what they don't include, their philosophy, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a rabbit hole that
Yeah.
I'm going to dig into later because I don't know. I actually don't know
It's a
anything about those.
separate,
It's
yeah,
a, I
it's
think
a
it's a
separate
separate
conversation.
conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
If anyone who's listening and you're an expert in the diagnostic wellness, please reach out to me because I would love to learn and to talk about it.
It's also a
So I'm
really
not
different price point too, I would say, just in
sure,
terms
of
of
course.
like thinking about it and across the spectrum of available products.
Is
Those could run 30 or $40,000 for, a 2 week period of
like it.
treatments.
Okay. And
You know,
is it, from your experience, is it a fair question if you're meeting a wellness resort type of provider and you're just trying to gauge where they fall in the spectrum? Can we ask them, are they more diagnostic or do they have a diagnostic approach? Or have you found a good question to ask to just try to, no one fits in a bucket, but to just try to understand where they are on the spectrum?
yeah, I think that's a good question. I think probably leading with a hypothetical client or a specific client who has, made a request. I think a very typical client for that kind of product is a high level executive who is, maybe approaching burnout or is looking for a way to sort of perform optimally. Uh, and I think a lot of the more diagnostic properties have executive track programs established.
Mhm. Okay.
And so I think going in and saying, this is someone who wants some diagnostic work done, they also just need to get some rest and, care. But they're also very concerned with their actual physical performance. Can
Hmm.
you provide both of those? Can they get a massage, but can they also meet with a doctor, have a bunch of,
Yeah.
cardio testing or something done, and come
Okay.
away from that feeling like they've gotten a really thorough screening, but also
Hmm.
have gotten some rest and,
Right.
you know,
Okay.
maybe get a facial.
Yeah, that's helpful. I mean, I think everything that you just shared, it's helpful to have the conversation with the hotel or resort that you're talking to, but also with the client of
Mm-hmm.
let's dig into what we're actually looking for here or what the end goal is. So a notch back from the diagnostic approach, I generally start thinking about places where you might be going for 3 or 4 nights. Maybe we're leaving our phones behind. Maybe we're drinking alcohol or we're not, but there's just a schedule of activities and it's kind of like pick your own wellness approach, pick your own
Mm-hmm.
recharge, have a
Yeah,
down
there's a little bit of a
weekend.
choose your own adventure kind of aspect to a King and
How would you
Ranch or a
call these?
Miraval.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking Lake Austin, Spa Resort,
Yeah.
the Miraval. These are the types of places that I'm thinking about. Do you have a quippy, fun category name for these guys? Or like, how would we describe them? I feel like you always have random funny things off the top of your head. How would you describe that experience as a category in a way that differentiates it from the diagnostic? Or do we just say one's diagnostic and one's not? Or how would you talk
I
to a
think I would think
client?
of them as sort of true wellness or,
Retreat comes to mind a little bit for me of
yeah.
just like a turn off for the weekend, go kayaking, get a spa treatment, and do some yoga. Like a,
Yeah.
it's not diagnostic. I'm not looking for health. I'm not looking to meet with professionals or doctors, but I am absolutely looking for an unplug, recharge. I'm looking for a reset, a few days away that are drastically different than if I just took a few days at home.
Yeah, I don't have a good term for it. I do think that they are what most people are thinking of when they think of the word wellness. You're expecting like a very high level of proficiency with the practitioners. You're expecting really good food. You're expecting a
Yeah.
mixture of like indulgent spa treatment, but then also active. You want to be able to go for a hike, get a great massage afterwards, have an amazing meal, have a good glass of wine, unless you're at King and Ranch, in which case you won't, and get a great night of sleep. I think sleep is a huge component as well,
That's a good point.
you know.
Hmm.
But there is a little bit of an element of like you can create your own program in a way that sometimes is not that you can't create your own program at the more diagnostic properties, but it is a little bit more established for you. Whereas I think at the Miraval's, the Lake Austins, the Canyon Ranches,
It's
you
like,
can of
here's
course
what's on
call and talk
offer.
to the team, and like they'll walk you through. You know,
Hmm.
if you want someone to help walk you through it, like that support exists. But if you're somebody who likes to look at a menu of spa treatments and kind of like mentally work your way through it and select the things that, you know, sound most appealing to you, like
Hmm.
you've got that optionality. Like I tell this story all the time when I'm trying to explain Miraval to people. I went during COVID with my husband and a really good friend of ours, and I spent the whole time in the spa. I think I went to one trauma release stretching sort of class, which was
Hmm.
just strange. But otherwise had the most incredible spa treatments like massages, body treatments, facials that I've ever had. There was an experience where I was like bundled up in yoga silks hanging from the ceiling like a baby. And then they just sort of like gently pushed everyone a little bit so you're kind of rocking. And
Rocking.
then there was a sound bath for an hour in the dark. And it was like the most
Amazing.
unbelievable experience.
Sign me up.
Um, yeah, put me in a trance right away. And then
Yeah.
my husband was like going for hikes, having like oyster and champagne tastings, you know, just sort of like dabbling a little
That's,
bit in stuff
well,
that he
that's
found
his
interesting.
version of
Yeah. And then
wellness
our
or
friend
recharge.
did like hardcore yoga and then did stuff like he went to a class about mushrooms. Like they had a mushroom farmer come in and just explain different kinds of mushrooms. And so it was like, all right, like you can go be a yoga person and learn
Hmm.
something nerdy in the afternoon. Like
Hmm.
you can go indulge yourself with champagne and oysters. I'm going to be over in the spa getting a mind blowing facial, and then we're
Yeah.
all going to meet for dinner for an amazing meal, and then go to sleep really early. And we're not allowed to have our phones, so like we have to have an actual conversation, and we have to
Hmm.
like decompress. So
So it really is choose your own adventure. It kind of feels like if I went to a place like that, the goal at the end is just I would be aiming to feel relaxed, recharged, rejuvenated, like a reset, mental and physical. Whereas if I went to more of a diagnostic place, I would actually expect to leave not only feeling better physically and mentally, but having learned more about my body. And I would expect to sort of like have a plan of what comes next to support my body or to check back in 6 months. I would so the end result of what I would be mentally going in and expecting would be quite a bit different.
yeah, I think the diagnostic places for me are really for people looking for some sort of transformation, like either a physical transformation or a transformation in sort of the way that you're approaching wellness because maybe like your body has changed, like
Hmm.
you're entering a different like phase of life, a different phase of career, like you really need to make a substantial pivot and there's a physical component to that. I think that's
Hmm.
what that's for. Like the a place like Miraval, I think can be sort of short-term transformatory.
Sure.
Is that the right word? Is transformatory a word?
Sure. I have no idea, but we'll go with it.
Okay.
It doesn't sound wrong.
Provides transformation. Uh,
Now I'm going to
I'm,
Google it.
yeah, I
Transformatory.
feel like at one point I used that word and my husband said, oh, is that a dormitory for transformers? So,
So
you know what I mean? Provides
it's
transformation, but maybe not in a like long lasting sort of life changing kind of way.
it's a
Um,
word for the
yeah.
record.
Okay,
It is.
great.
It absolutely is.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So
I think the other
those
end of the
feel
spectrum is like just straight up hotel
th
spas.
well, yeah. So I think that the diagnostic and the wellness recharge areas that we just described, those feel pretty easy, I guess, to identify, to understand what it is they offer and what they don't. It feels easy to talk with a client about this is either what you're looking for or you're not. And the vagueness feels like in the rest of this spectrum that we haven't talked
Yeah.
about yet. Whereas, okay, you say yes to a spa, so you're not a no, but you're also not a multi 2 or 3 or 4 night minimum wellness recharge experience. You're somewhere in the middle. So on your website it says spa, but now can we like get into what that actually means? Because
Yeah.
there's a spectrum. So talk to me a little bit about your thoughts and your personal experiences on this spectrum.
So I think, thank you so much for asking this because I feel like I joke every time I go somewhere that it would be professionally irresponsible to not try the spa. So
I always say I have to. It's field research.
Well, it's true though. It's so
It
like they're
absolutely
so
is.
different one from the other. I'm not going to name names if I'm going to be giving negative reviews here, but I was at a kind of countryside property in Tuscany in the fall and set up a
Hmm.
spa treatment, and it was just 2 rooms and a basement. And the treatment was fine, but it was just a competent massage. It didn't feel like a spa
Yes,
treatment. And
exactly.
if I just want a sports massage,
Hmm.
okay,
More like
that's
a
like I'll go
physical
to the cheap
therapist's
massage place
office.
here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Whereas if I'm here and I want a staycay day with a great sense of
Yes.
relaxation, I'm going to go to Four Seasons or the Salamander.
So
So I think
I
it's
think
important
we.
to actually talk to the clients ahead of time too about what are their expectations. Do they like a relaxation room situation? Do they want somewhere to kind of chill before and or after? Do they love a
Hmm.
hydrotherapy circuit? Do they
Hmm.
expect to be able to sit in the steam room? Do they want there to be an indoor pool that they can splash around in before or after?
Hmm.
Because some spas can deliver on all of those things, and some of them truly are just like we have some great therapists and we can do
In a room.
massages or facials, and we got one room.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly. Exactly.
but then you're
Um,
like putting your clothes back on and tottering back outside before the kind of bliss of the treatment is even worn off, and it really kind
exactly.
of harshes the vibe, so to speak. To
Yes. No,
you know,
100%. I think ambiance and the energy of the space is also a part of this. I've had really incredible massages, but like there was little to no music, or the lighting was funky, or like you mentioned, you're in a room in the basement where it's okay, well, the massage is great, but the ambiance isn't setting the mood. Let's just say it that way. It's not getting me in the mindset of enjoying this nice massage. I also don't like to be surprised by a very well equipped before and after experience. If I've built into my trip 2 hours in order to have time for a 90-minute massage and a quick rinse afterwards to take a shower, and then I get there and I'm like, you have a sauna and a steam room and a relaxation room and a selection of tea and a hot tub, and I don't have an extra hour, folks. Like, why didn't you tell me this? I would have planned for it. So there's also these moments where it's like, you do have more than I was expecting, but now I don't get to really take advantage because I didn't know.
yeah, I love a spa that sets expectations for you, where you
Yes.
get an email like a couple days before, and they sort of point out that you should really arrive an hour in advance if you want to take advantage of the
Hmm.
facilities. Or I did a spa treatment the other night at the Salamander here in DC. It was a floating sound bath in their indoor pool, and so it
Cool.
was, yeah, it was really interesting. They put you in like sort of a floating bed in the pool, and there were about 20 of them. So you just kind of like get in, and then like they sort of push you towards the other end of the pool, and then keep putting more people in, and then do a sound, cover you with a towel, and give you an eye mask and a little
Cool.
aromatherapy thing, and then the sound
Yeah.
bath happens, and then like for an hour, and then you leave. But like I brought my swimsuit because I thought, oh, we're gonna be in the pool, and like I got there and they were like, oh no, you don't have to change. You can just get in the pool the way you are. And I was like, in my sweater and my jeans, okay.
So you actually accomplished not getting wet?
Yeah,
Like,
because like
are
the little bed that you're in is so big that
okay.
it's almost
And
like a
you can
little
get in
boat.
it without any,
Yeah,
kayak flipping
they
over
had like
situation.
they had 2 people in, like from the staff in the pool in swimsuits, who would
Okay.
hold the boat, make sure you got
Okay.
in, told you how to get in to make sure you didn't fall
Got
out,
it. Got it.
held your phone while you were doing it, and
Okay.
and it was totally fine. I was
In your sweater and
perfectly
jeans.
fine. I probably would have kept my athleisure on and not even changed it to my sweater and jeans had I known.
Yeah.
But and so like my feedback to them was like, hey, it'd be really great to get an email like a day or two before this, not just confirming that this is happening, but also just like a heads up, like you can wear your swimsuit if you want to, but like most people don't, and it's not really necessary. And actually, just like leggings and a t-shirt are probably going to be fine because you just want to be
Exactly.
comfortable, but you're not going to
Exactly.
get wet. So,
Hmm. Right.
anyways, that's a very roundabout way of saying it. I feel like sometimes better expectation setting about what the
I
totality
think
of the
it's,
experience will encompass
yeah.
can be
Hmm.
really helpful.
I think it's all about setting expectations at the end of the day because every frustration that we've mentioned so far has been a misalignment in expectations. I think when I go to the spa anywhere, what I'm trying to gauge is this, I don't want to say just an amazing treatment, but like, is this a highly skilled, competent, wonderful treatment alone? Or is it a full spa and wellness experience? In the case that I actually need to tell clients who I know love spa and wellness, we must make time for spa and wellness while you stay here.
Yeah.
Or is it just something that we're trying to sneak in a 3 p.m. appointment when you're getting home from your touring for the day before dinner?
Yeah, like
That's
imagine going to Grand Velas, not knowing about the hydrotherapy experience and not giving yourself an hour to 2 hours to do that before your treatment.
and
Most people, I think, would be
imagine,
quite annoyed.
yes, and even worse, imagine having clients who you know love spa and wellness staying at Grand Velas and they don't fully understand that this is somewhere, the spa is not just a place you should go once. You should probably plan to go 2 or 3 times during your stay if you're there for 5 or 6 nights. This isn't just a treatment. This isn't, can we squeeze in a quick massage before dinner or, after breakfast before we head out for the day? This is no, this is an experience that we have to plan around and make time for. And I think that this is the big question mark that I often find the most difficult to answer when I'm simply looking at a website or even emailing the spa and just trying to ask a few questions to try to understand. Sometimes the answers I get back are factually accurate, but still not very helpful in painting the picture of,
Yeah.
should I tell my clients that you absolutely can't miss the spa here? Or should I tell them if we have time? Yeah, but otherwise we'll get in on the next one. Help me, help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we wrote a love letter to the managers of spas in 4 and 5 star hotels around the world, what might it say?
Is this a tough love letter or?
It's a love letter. Yeah, probably tough love because it's a love letter that we're saying we love you and we want you to do a little bit better so that we can show you love even more by sending you the clients who have properly had their expectations managed and they know what they're there for. It will be a win-win-win all around.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I feel like it's just helpful to know what the experience is going to be like. Like, how many treatment rooms is it? I was very surprised when you and I went to Mana in the fall. Those were objectively great treatments, but I was really surprised that they only had 2 treatment rooms because
Same.
it feels to me like that property is almost kind of built a little bit as a wellness property.
This is the whole point of this conversation. I agree.
Yeah.
And the waiting area, again, nothing wrong with it. Like, this is not a complaint. This is just factual. It's a
Yeah.
hallway. When you
Yeah.
are waiting for your treatment to begin or when your treatment ends and they're giving you a little cup of tea and the bill to sign, you're sitting on a bench fairly exposed in a hallway.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
I'm such a ride or die for the Salamander Middleburg because they have this gorgeous room where you wait and there are only chaise lounges and they have the most comfortable soft chenille blankets and they have a variety of beverages and they have healthy snacks, but they also have, yogurt covered raisins and
perfect.
something that hits a sweet tooth and you can kind of just hang out as long as you want afterwards. Nobody's going to come and tell you got to leave. And,
Mhm.
my personal, every time I have a great massage, I think if you told me I could stay here for half an hour and take a nap, you could charge me any amount of money you wanted. And I know it's impossible from a scheduling standpoint, but if I at least have to get up and leave this room, I
Give me
want you to
somewhere to go
deposit me
relax.
somewhere where I can keep it going. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah. Okay, maybe an easier question is more like if we had to line up 10 hotels that we've personally experienced and they all had different kind of spa and wellness experiences, what differentiates one from the next? What types of things?
well, funny you ask this because have been writing down a list of the most memorable spot treatments I've ever received.
Oh my gosh, tell
Um,
me all of them.
and some of them have to do with the setting,
Hmm.
and some of them, but most of them have to do with the actual quality of the experience itself.
The
That like
treatment, but the surrounding
that like
experience.
the treatment itself was like 10 out of 10. I have a short list in my head that I keep of those. Um,
So I imagine that this is not just then a 90-minute deep tissue massage.
Sometimes.
Like it's something, okay. Because one of the things I was going to say is the ones that I often remember are like you had an interesting treatment menu. Like you had
Yeah.
options and like whatever you did, whatever you were offering, like it was something that I couldn't just come home and book anywhere. It was like
Yeah.
unique to that spa, unique to that destination, unique to whatever, but it was unique in some way. How can I take that treatment home with me? That's
Yeah.
one thing I would
I
say.
do love that. I think that's super important. And if you are only going to offer straight up massages and facials, like you got to knock it out of the park. The practitioners have to be top
Yes.
notch. The
Yeah.
experience, if all you're offering is the treatment, then the treatment itself needs to be exceptional.
Yeah. Of course.
Like
Hmm.
I better be glowing when I leave,
And floating,
um, and yeah,
glowing and
and
floating.
blissed out. Yeah. Sometimes it's the setting itself is so beautiful. Like Chablis Yucatan, for instance, has a really interesting spa menu. The restaurant at the spa is very good. I love that component too. And there's like a separate
Interesting.
little like cafe or like menu or something that's like very healthy. If I'm going to spend the whole day at the spa, like I may want to have chia pudding for lunch and, you know, not feel like I have to leave, go have lunch somewhere else, and then come back. But it's built around a cenote, so it's just the most beautiful setting. Also, to if you are going to stay for an hour and just read a book and have your chia
Hmm.
pudding or whatnot, like you're also wrapped within this beautiful like nature setting.
Yeah. Cool.
So often it's something where there's a very unique sort of like physical aspect to the actual
Hmm.
place that's really memorable. In addition to the treatments themselves being like very high level.
Yep. Yep. What else differentiates your top 10 all-time treatments from just good treatments?
It really is practitioner quality. It's like the actual, am I just so blissed out from how great this treatment was? Like, did I fall asleep and wake up and fall asleep and wake, did you put me into a
Yeah.
trance? Which has happened during
This
facials,
is,
it's happened during body treatments,
yeah.
it's happened during massages.
So I agree with you that this is an interesting component, but is there a way? Like you
There's
can't,
no way to gauge
because
it.
the,
Yeah.
no. Mm-mm. And also it's so personal. I know people
Yeah.
have said that was the
Although
best massage of my life, and for the next person, it's not
I
the
do
same.
think you can ask the sales team. I think you can dig in a little bit to who's staffing the spa because
Hmm.
if they have someone there who's an award-winning masseuse, they will tell you it's a selling point for the hotel. There's a hotel in Normandy where they're, how the French categorize everything.
Hmm.
Their spa manager's the top masseuse in France, or at least has won that accolade at
Wow.
some point. And
Okay.
I've always remembered that property specifically because of that specific
Okay.
talking point. The we went to Cliff at Lyons. The woman who did my
Hmm.
massage there was also an award-winning masseuse, and it was like that's for sure on my top 10. And that's not a five-star hotel. It's not a
Right.
wellness-oriented property. It just is a small countryside property that happens to have a banging spa.
Yeah. And it's so, I mean, that's a perfect example. Really great spa technicians, really nice ambiance and setting, and like the physical space that you're in. No sauna or steam room or swimming pool or locker room, changing rooms, nothing like that. But it didn't even matter because the setting, the before and after setting was so lovely. The actual treatment rooms were lovely. The technician was amazing. And then you could
Mm-hmm.
actually walk back to your room in your robe and slippers. So you
Or
could
you could
kind
hang
of
by the
keep,
fireplace in that
mhm,
kind of relaxation area. So
yeah. So it feels like it's technician like experience and quality. It's the variety and the actual treatments that are being offered. So is it just a standard, do you want a 60-minute or a 90-minute massage? Or there's like, here are 10 treatments that you've never heard of that we designed that you can't go home and get these. This is what I'm looking for. Actual ambiance and setting of the physical space could be lovely and small, but then I just think it gets better and better if there is a relaxation space afterwards, if there is the sauna and steam room, if there is the swimming pool and the chase lounges. It's not a good or a bad. It's just, again, managing expectations and making sure that we're aligned with what the clients are expecting. So if a client really is saying, I would really love a spa day during this upcoming trip, then we know that we're looking for something, an
for a
offering
different
that's a
kind
little
of
bit more extensive in a physical space that is going to merit spending a whole day there, as opposed to just a great technician in a smaller spa with two treatment rooms.
couldn't couldn't agree more. I think the one other thing that can be a huge differentiator is if you have to sign a bill afterwards or if they just charge it to your room and you don't have to sign anything. because I feel like that also really is a mood killer to come out of an amazing spa treatment and then have to immediately like be confronted with the cost of that.
So do you feel this way at a restaurant too, or just the spa?
I mean, I'll be honest. If I'm going to a Michelin star restaurant and there's a way to prepay the bill, I would prefer to do that.
Yeah. Well, okay, to your point, I think it's a big buzzkill to have to pay the hotel bill when you're checking out. I would also prefer to prepay it.
Yeah,
Like your stay. Like you just had
yeah.
this
It just
incredible stay
it
and you're so relaxed and there's watch. Pay
yep
up.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's one of the best things about the way that we operate when we're working with a DMC or something where the hotel is prepaid, is that
Agreed.
clients have already mentally adjusted to the cost of that and to
Hmm.
not be confronted with it while you're experiencing the experience. I
Yep.
think removes an element of friction.
I agree. I agree. I hadn't thought about it from the spa perspective. I don't know that I've ever, I think I have signed invoices at the beginning. So upon arrival, checking in,
Yeah,
I think I have
I'm
signed the
also
bill,
fine with that.
but I don't think that I've ever not signed anything before or after, and like just an automatic charge to the room. I don't think I've ever done that before. Have you? You've had that experience? Or this is something you dreamt up?
I think so.
Okay.
If I haven't had it, it's the experience I want to have.
Okay. I think the only thing we haven't really talked about is everything that we've been describing is spa, but wellness, I feel, comes in when there's a little bit of programming. So maybe not the full, 35 activities a day, Lake Austin and Miraval type of scheduling. But when I see like a hotel or resort like tipping in the direction of wellness more than just spa is when they do have some sort of programming. So whether it's yoga
Mm-hmm.
classes or sound baths or whatever it is, even if it's just every morning at 10 a.m. there's something. This
Mm-hmm.
makes me think of like Ontario or Blackberry Mountain, like these types of places. Like I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
that they have some programming. It's not super extensive. It's not all
Yeah, yeah,
day,
yeah.
every day. It's not 65 different activities, but there is something going on that is wellness related and it's more, it expands. I think that's where we go from spa and then we expand into spa and wellness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think sport is the other thing that
Like
I would
having
think
a,
falls under this umbrella. So like something like the ranch where there's a really intense physical component, something like
oh, do they have like
Backroads
tennis and
where
stuff? Oh, oh, like backroads.
yeah. Yeah, no, the ranch is like a more regimented program where like you get up and there's like a hike every morning and like
Oh,
the food is more prescripted and then there's like actual there are trainers with you there all day.
so it's not diagnostic from meeting with a doctor perspective, but it is more rigorous from up and out
It's
of we're going for a
hardcore
hike and there's a
athletics.
trainer with
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Yeah.
know much about these. Are there a lot of these or is this a pretty niche option?
Um, I think I mean the ranch is the most well known of them. It started in Malibu. They did a
Hmm.
pop up in Italy last year, and now they've got one in the Hudson Valley.
Okay.
Um,
I'm like vaguely familiar, but I don't know a lot about it.
yeah, the Body Holiday in St. Lucia,
Hmm.
I would say is
Hmm.
similar, where there's a lot of programming and it's very sport oriented.
Interesting. Okay.
I think, I mean, there are a lot more resorts that are paying attention to putting in tennis courts,
Hmm.
padel courts,
Hmm.
pickleball. Is that really grows in popularity? Like I've noticed that significantly more frequently than in the past.
So would
Um,
you add like a third component of spa, wellness, and sport? Because then as we get into like fitness, then we're into the gym and the gym facilities,
yeah, yeah,
trainers. Actual yoga is this very fine line between fitness and wellness, I guess. It depends what kind of yoga we're doing.
yeah,
The tennis courts, the padel courts, the kickboxing at 10 a.m. I don't know what they offer. I see this is where personally I
yeah,
draw the line. I generally am not there to do sport on vacation. I'm more there to do wellness. I'll sign up for yoga all day long. Like a kickboxing class, like pass, hard pass. But I'm
yeah.
sure there are
Whereas
some people.
I
So
like if if there's a tennis instructor and like you have equipment available, like
let's
I'll
do it.
do that every day. Yeah.
It's interesting
So
that you mentioned backroads because I've done backroads and I absolutely love it. It's not something that would have immediately come to mind if somebody came to me looking for wellness. But if you are
I think
active
it's an
every single
aspect of it
day,
though. Yeah.
um, it's the fitness part of it for sure. You get that every single day, which is wellness. What I appreciate about back rows is that you can choose your own adventure. So they definitely have the easy, medium, difficult kind of how strenuous of the day you want it to be, and you don't have to decide in advance. You just wake up and see
Yeah.
which one you
Yeah.
want to go on. I did struggle to sometimes fit in spa treatments in the small amount of free time that we had. So I think
Yeah.
if somebody was looking to be active from a fitness perspective, back rows all day long, and or opportunities similar to that. If they really wanted the spa and the wellness, I would probably do a post stay at the
Yeah.
end of a
I
back row
think it would be
trip.
a combination. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect to be able to incorporate that unless you had somebody who just took a day off from whatever the active thing
From
was.
yeah, like actually skipped the
And
activities.
yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Which you could do, of course. Amazing.
It's a broad spectrum. So
It is a very broad spectrum. And I appreciate your willingness to dive into this little thorn in our side so that we can start putting words to it. Because I think from here, it helps talk to suppliers differently so that maybe hotels start the conversation by saying we're a spa and wellness resort. And I hope that advisors listening are like, so tell me more. What does that really mean?
yeah.
Right. Instead of
Yeah.
just saying, oh, spa and wellness, move on to the next question. Right. But then I think it also helps to inform when clients who generally I find give us pretty vague requests of I would love a wellness day or I love a spa day to dig in a little bit deeper and
Yeah.
ask, what does that actually mean for you? Because here's the spectrum, here are the options, and either managing expectations that where we can fit spot in your trip right here isn't quite going to match up with what you're describing. So are we still okay with that? Or
Mm-hmm.
are we seeking, like we haven't even planned the trip yet, and we're looking for a spot that is matching the description of what you've just shared?
Yeah. There's a real difference. And I think people sometimes don't even have a very defined idea of what they're looking for when they come to you and they say, well, I want some wellness. You know, we have people where we just have a standing order to set up a massage for them. They're either first or second day
Yeah.
on a trip, and it's a specific kind of massage, and we know what kind of therapist they want, and we know what kind of
Hmm.
treatment they want to have. But for people who aren't regular spa goers, they may need a little more guidance from the advisor too on just kind of what's possible, what will the experience be like, what's it like to get a body treatment versus a straight up massage.
That's a good, yeah, for people
You
who
know,
really don't go to the spot a lot. Yeah. And to
Yeah,
your
or
point,
people who, for some people, the transition between you've just had someone scrub you and now you have to get up and go take a shower and like towel off and then you have to get back in the thing because now you're going to massage. I think that's a kind of expectation setting as well to just be
sure.
like, have you had a treatment like this before? Here's how that might go.
Yeah. And to your point of the clients who just have a standing spa treatment on their first or second day, I have these as well. And they are the exact type of clients who I know appreciate a great massage. So when I go to a place like Grand Velas, those are the clients that I say, now, when you go to Grand Velas, because they went, I was like, we need to book you for 3 or 4 days. And
Yeah,
you need to plan on being there for a few hours every time because you're going to love this. And so
yeah,
that actually helped me manage their expectations because I know their client profile of like how they feel about a spa. And they do appreciate just a straightforward good treatment, but they really appreciate when there is that opportunity to have a more robust experience.
yeah,
Awesome.
completely.
Thank you, Kate. This was so fun. I can't wait till we
Thanks
can
for
go to the
having
spa
me.
again.
I know.